10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this November 18th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we have a very special guest on Heavy Muscle Radio this week, live on the street in front of the Godzilla Hotel in Japan. I can't make this stuff up, Chris. It's Milos Sarcev.
Hey guys, good to hear from you. Yes, I'm right in front of some Godzilla, big old statue, head of Godzilla above me. So I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Chris, can you imagine this? This is only on Heavy Muscle Radio can we do this.
Yeah, we got Milos
live from the Godzilla Hotel. So Milos, you're like a world traveler. Chris was just out in China. Now, I mean, you were there in China, and you went to Japan for the Japan Pro. This was Hide Yamagishi's first pro show out there. How did it go? What was the production value like out there?
Yeah, I heard that Chris was in China just when I was there, but we were like about 4 hours apart, so I couldn't come see him. Otherwise, I would.
China's a pretty big country.
This is second time that Hidetada is promoting the show. Last year was 212. This time was open.
This is the first open.
First time open, and as you probably know, there was 20 competitors. It was a well-organized show. Competitors, when you see the lineup, there was like 3 Olympia competitors, right? Cedric McMillan, Juan Morel, and Max Charles. So, having 3 Olympia competitors on the stage, and then somebody like Regan Grimes, it's a tough lineup. Now,
Milos, Juan Morel is like the Milos Sarcev of the modern era. He does every show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. Like what are you trying to do? Pull Milos. He had to qualify, and he did. I'm very happy for him. Hard worker. You see, not too many guys competed like I did. However, I think if you're IFBB professional and there is a opportunity, there is a show, how can you possibly pass? You see, when Hida told me Juan was bummed out that Cedric is doing the show because he would be possibly threat to take his Olympia qualification. But Cedric had a shot at $16,000 first place. It's profession. How can you say, okay, Monday I'm going to work and Tuesday I'm not? So I support guys competing at every show. 3 years, I did every pro show that was organized. And a few times there was for me, a business decision. I went to Europe to do the guest posing rather than compete.
Right.
In 90s with Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Paul Dillette, Chris Cormier, Kevin Leveroni,
Yeah.
So at my best, I could play 6, 7, 8, 9, so it was not worth it.
Yeah, true.
But
now,
let's go back to the show.
Yeah, Chris and I were talking before we got you on here all the way from Japan, and we were saying how we were very unimpressed, at least before we got on the air, with the level of conditioning. It appeared, at least from the small amount of video and photos that are circulating, was the conditioning off at the show?
Oh, my God. I mean, I don't want to be harsh, but I have to be honest. I mean, Cedric McMillan, right? I love his physique. We all know that he's Olympia potential if he would be sharp. He showed up, as I sent you the message, really in embarrassing shape.
Really? He just looked so good a few weeks ago, Chris, remember?
Yeah. I mean, I even seen some videos here. It's like, wait a second, here he doesn't look so bad. But I was front row and I was backstage. I mean, he was not in condition, to be in top 3. I really hope the judge is going to start penalizing guys, so they're not going to just step on the stage regardless. Back in 2009, Dennis Wolf didn't make top 15, after 2 years being in the top 5, just because he was like majorly sealed over, if you remember, and they penalized him. Yeah. So I support that. I mean, Yeah, love Cedric's physique. If he was on, he would be untouchable. Regan would possibly give him trouble had he been working with Chris and being conditioned. He competed when Chris coached him. And really beautiful shape, enough muscle mass, but it was way too soft.
Chris, let me ask Chris a question for a second, because Chris is very quiet over there. Chris, is this a disappointment this year? I mean, Regan is probably one of the most popular guys on social media. We know that. Fans love him, and he has a lot of potential. I just haven't seen it on stage from what we've seen from him this year. I mean, I know you're not coaching him this year, and there was whatever happened, and he moved on to someone else. But is this a disappointment for Regan Grimes?
Well, it has to be. Look, the reality is the placings are good. You're getting third place in major bodybuilding shows.
Right.
And the critique is that the conditioning is off. So, of course, the fact is that it's off. Period. End of story. And, of course, I'll voice that because I see it, call it as I see it. But at the same time, people say, "Oh, that's because you're not working with him." And
Milos just told us. Milos was front row, so he's validating that.
What's Milos now? Only did 700 bodybuilding shows. He don't know shit.
So, I mean, what's the takeaway here? Did he try to come in too big, you think? I mean, what do you think was going on with whoever was advising him at this point?
I mean, it's the conditioning is not there. That is, there's not much more you can say about that. Because that's what's going to hold him back. I mean, he obviously got great shape. Obviously very wide. Obviously, got good flow. I mean, people are critical of his legs, but I mean, Juan doesn't have great legs, and Cedric's got better legs, I guess, than they match his upper body more so than say Regan or Juan's. But I mean, outside of legs, it's really more or less, I think, the only weakness. I mean, everyone has weaknesses though, except Cedric.
Are guys trying to come in too big? I mean, too full? This whole fullness thing, it's like, it kind of makes me a little, like I want to throw up in my mouth when I hear the fullness thing. Oh, not full enough. Like, it seems like people are just afraid to get shredded anymore.
I heard a debate with Luke Sando and quite a bit. Chris knows very well. Back in the 90s, like 15 guys at Olympia would be, shredded, dry, conditioned, and we are just not seeing this nowadays. For me, I was shocked. Let's put it this way: Juan Morel deserved to win, but that was not some crazy conditioning or anything. It was fair conditioning, fairly dry. Nothing superb. Like I said, Cedric McMillan, I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of him and his physique and everything, but I just hate to see him being on a stage like this. I mean, at my worst, I have better and leaner abs. I mean, somebody told me, would you step on stage and show it? Like, probably I would, and beat him in the shot. Let's talk about Regan. Regan was super lean in some pictures like 3 weeks ago, right? So he was actually conditioned, was like, whoa, this guy, put it together. But both shows in Romania and now, I mean, he looked like 6 weeks out.
So what do you think happened? Are those filtered pictures, or is he just screwing something up the last week?
I hope not. I mean, really, I hope not. But nowadays when you see the pictures, now you can't really believe it anymore. The thing is, everybody saw he was not in condition. He was soft. Right. Beautiful physique. If he was in Chris Aceto's condition, he would have walked away with first place, beating Juan and Cedric, no question.
Can we do a disclaimer that I didn't prompt you to say that, Milos, because that was another thing. I'll get email, text messages.
Of course. Look, I'm a coach myself, and I always respect. I mean, we are not always perfect. Sometimes we make bad decisions, but you're very consistent. You are achieving a great condition with your guys and.
Well, you haven't seen my Instagram because I've been accused of being an inconsistent coach.
Well, you're coaching over 100 people, so like if like 5 people out of 100 are not spot on, then you're inconsistent. So
a lot of people,
that,
Chris, have asked me. You posted I think about Cody Montgomery on your Instagram, saying that with a text message from a coach trying to jack him away from you, I think last year or something like that, or right? Was that what that was?
Yeah, it was someone who said you got to come in sliced, peeled, dried to the bone. It was like, well, that's what you tell everyone. I mean, I want everyone I help to come in sliced, dry, and peeled to the bone. And then when I bring them in like that, people say, well, you're flat. I was like, generally sliced, peeled, and dried to the bone is associated with being on the flat side, right Milos?
Yeah. I mean, that would be ideal case scenario that everybody's sliced, peeled, and dry.
And full.
And then exploding full.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very hard to reach that look. So speaking of that, Cody Montgomery, he plays sport. He's complete package. He didn't come slice and dice. He came in a better condition, the top 3. So
he looked very hard in the pictures, Milos, to me. He looked really ridiculously dry to me.
I mean, you see, pictures and video. I'm looking on the stage and looking at the video, and then hold on a second. I was right there. That was not happening on the stage. I mean, look, he was good condition, not great condition. So especially because other guys were off, he made him look, better. But by all means, I promise you, it was not like crazy conditioning. It was good, but not super dry. So I'm surprised if you see this on the pictures.
Let me ask you, this was Cody Montgomery, Chris's return to the open division from the little experiment last year. Obviously, you're coaching him. I felt like he didn't get his size back that he had, or at least he didn't go past what he was. Is this kind of a transition for Cody, still until really into 2020, where we should see a much improved version of him?
Yeah, I mean, if you go through Cody's history, of course, he was, USA winner at 20, and then did the Arnold at 21, and then took a 18-month hiatus, and then he did a 212 show. The 212 show was not by design. It was by, I want to do a show, Chris, and he's getting ready, and I say, hey, I got news for you. You're not an open bodybuilder anymore. It's weird. You're going to have to do 212. I did 212 shows, and then took another, I think that's a year and a half ago, but he took a long time off again from training. So prepping for this show was like zero off season. It was like, okay, here I am small. I want to do an open show and run into it. So the weight fell 220 exactly on stage. The weight fell where it fell. So, I mean, he's an open guy, but what I'm getting at is if he had a off season of even 12 weeks, he's a 228 bodybuilder.
Yeah, what did he weigh at the Arnold when you brought him into that first pro show? Because he looked really good at that show.
Maybe right around here, maybe the same, 223, 220, 224. He's never been much more than that. Same thing when he won the USA.
Right. Milos, how did On Win look in 5th?
And again, it's good. Again, I like his physique. Again, not super conditioned, fair condition. I would certainly had him ahead of Cedric. So he had a size, he has a weight balance. So I talk about this. I analyze Olympia judging, and I dissected the way I judge. I would put the balance first, conditioning, muscularity, presentation, right? So conditioning is a big part that nowadays we don't see it. So if somebody's conditioned, I would, majorly favor them, award the condition. So if you start awarding conditions, then guys are going to be forced to be in the best condition. But when judges award fat, off-season, blown up, soft, watery, smooth look, it doesn't matter. Then all the guys are going to show up like that. You see, if Dorian would win with the look of Cedric yesterday, nobody would actually go for cuts and dryness. Why would you?
True.
Serious.
How was the pro debut of your Chinese athlete you work with?
Yeah, I mean, now if I say okay, yeah, for me he was best conditioned as far as leanness, hardness, and dryness. He's 6'2", and he needs to fill up more. I mean, I tried to fill him up, and it was just like not enough. I find out he wanted to do the show like 8 weeks out because he thought that it was going to be wide open. There was like only 6 guys on the list,
right?
And then all the other guys that came in, I was like, oh shit, But yeah, I think he's right here now, right next to me. I'm talking about you, Lou. So yeah,
Lu Chen-Hu. Yeah, I was talking about
Lu Chen-Hu. Yeah,
8th place.
He is. He was a little nervous and all that, but first pro show could have possibly squeezed a couple of places higher, but he's happy.
The insulin must have been flowing for this one, I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
The insulin must have been flowing for this one, I'm sure, right? You only had 8 weeks to go.
Yeah, of course. You know me, but because of China, we actually missed a couple of shots. We had a complicated travel from China, so we missed it. Again, I'm going to repeat this, and because you two guys, you prepare guys so you would understand what the 5,000 grams of carbs mean. For 2007 Olympia, I had to carb up Dennis Wolf with 5,000 grams of carbs. So imagine, 3 days. Okay, you can go.
Chris, that's got to be a record, don't you think?
I don't know. It might be. It's a record for me, but it might not be a record for Milos.
Jay Cutler didn't need 5,000 grams a day.
No, but everyone knows that Dennis Wolf. Always problem was flatness, right, Milos?
I'm sorry. I'm just taking a picture with the tourists. Hold on a second.
Milos is doing pictures with tourists while we're interviewing him outside the Godzilla statue. And we can't make this up, Chris.
Okay.
Milos is getting recognized in Japan. I love it.
Okay. Hey, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
We were saying that 5,000 grams of carbs a day may be a record but not for you. Chris said maybe not for you.
Not today. That was not for a day. That was 2.5 days.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5,000 a day would be impossible.
Well, 1,500 grams of carbs is still a lot per day, Milos.
Yes. Seriously. Let's go. I just follow you. Huh? Okay.
Well, Milos, I know you're busy over there. I want to just thank you for calling in and giving us the rundown. If you had to rate, just the last question, if you had to rate Juan Morel on a scale of 1 to 10, the best Juan we've seen and the worst one we've seen, where would you put him on that scale?
Oh, I mean, well, I saw him in New York. I was quite impressed at 2018.
Yeah.
Arnold Classic, Brazil, where he won, he was great. I mean, it was not exactly like that. He was definitely better conditioned than Regan, and way better than Cedric. So for me, there was no question that he's going to win. But it was not the best Juan Morel. It was not the coolest, hardest, driest. It was combination, and I'm very happy for him. Super nice guy. And super happy for him, but
travel seems to be very hard for the.
I was just going to say that, Dave.
The travel kills the big guys.
Just going to say, in defense of the top 3, it for some reason, water retention always seems like it's more challenging for a bigger guy than a little guy. That's my experience.
And fullness too. They can't get full when you're on an airplane for 18 hours. It's tough. You can't carb up you can't be taking shots of insulin in the bathroom. Even though Milos would love to do that, but you can't. Not on an international flight. But Milos, have a safe. When are you coming back to the States?
Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a safe flight back. Thank you for the roving reporter analysis, and we love you, and enjoy yourself out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, see you soon.
All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye. That was Milos Sarcev, Chris, all the way from Japan.
China.
Japan.
Japan. I get it confused because he was just in China with me. Now he's in Japan.
It's people say, "Oh, Chris was in China. Why didn't he see Milos?" Well, China is a fucking big country. I
can't even get across the city. I can't even
exactly.
get. I mean, it's busy enough to get across the city, let alone it's not like in Maine. You can, if you're 4 hours away, you could like drive 95 miles an hour up the highway.
It's like Russia, though. It's huge. You guys weren't even close to each other, were you?
You know what? Milos said, pull out the map. And I was like, oh, gosh. I said, Milos, I'm just too far away. I didn't even want to commit to, like, going to visit him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you see Milos all the time. You don't need to see him in China,
Yeah.
Now, you were there.
If he was in the same town.
Right. You told us you were going there because you were doing a seminar. How'd the seminar go?
The seminar was phenomenal.
Good. And then you spent time with your wife there as well.
We had an absolutely unbelievably good time.
And your kids are still alive and intact?
Yeah, but they burnt the house down, so I'm broadcasting from an apartment. No, they were my in-laws took care of them, so they saved the day.
Yeah.
But I really liked. We had a great time in China. We went to
Did you have Chinese food?
Pardon me?
Did you eat Chinese food?
Oh, all meals.
Like
right?
authentic Chinese food.
Yeah, all meals. I had.
Is it like American Chinese food?
Whatever they put. No. Whatever they put in front of me, I tried.
Yeah.
More or less.
I found when I was in Hong Kong and in Macau, which is not really China, it's kind of like the Vegas of China, but I found that they did the meats and stuff like that were not as good as the Chinese food meats that I have in the United States. They eat a lot of like much fattier cuts of meat.
You like the New York City Chinese food. Like
That's right. The Jewish.
The first Chinese food I ever had was with Bob Gruskin.
You probably took you to the same place that my grandparents used to take me to.
And we used to go to like a Chinese restaurant. It was all Jewish people.
Yeah, Lums. We used to go to Lums. It was called Lums, L-U-M-S.
Not all Jewish, but a lot of people doing takeout and people from this neighborhood.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we went to Lums. Lums was a very famous restaurant in like the Queens area of Long Island, and it was all Jews in there. It was owned by Chinese people. It was all Jewish people there.
Yeah, Bob always used to say, "We love Jewish food. We love Chinese food."
You know why they love it? Because on Christmas,
that's exactly what it
Christmas. Nothing's open except the Chinese restaurants because the Asian people don't celebrate, and the Jewish people. So they it's like a commonality. All the Jewish people go to the Chinese restaurants to eat on Christmas.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, when I was would go to like. When I was older, I would go out to my grandparents' house for Christmas. As a bodybuilder, we don't just eat one meal. I got to continue eating the rest of the night. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go home and cook after I left my grandmother's. So I would just go to the Chinese restaurant after. So I would go from my Italian grandmother's to the Chinese restaurant or the takeout place and get food on my way home. That's how I did it on Christmas and Thanksgiving too. I think the Chinese restaurants may close at Thanksgiving. Not all, maybe one of them. So that's a tough one. I think more places are closed on Thanksgiving than on Christmas because
I think you're right.
Because Christmas, people are like all the stores are open for.
Everyone celebrates Thanksgiving, even if you're, if you're.
It's American holiday. So if you live in America, you celebrate Thanksgiving. Christmas is technically, I guess, a religious holiday. It's really not. But anymore, it's more of a money-making holiday. I was in Walmart today, and it was crazy. Now they have pre-Black Friday. It's not bad enough that we got Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving. Now they have pre-Black Friday sales. So, it used to be, all right, Thanksgiving comes the first day of like Christmas shopping is Black Friday. Now they have pre-Black Friday or the Friday before Black Friday sales. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Milos sent me a text message.
He sent me the picture.
The picture. To prove that he's in front. I said, take a picture.
Yeah.
That you're in front of, this is Guy Lou. In front of the Maruhan Hotel. Is that the Maruhan Hotel? Where's I don't see Godzilla, do you? In the picture?
No, I only saw the one picture.
Oh, there it is. I see Godzilla. No, wait. Is that Godzilla? Oh, yeah. The top of the building. Look at the top of the building.
Oh, I see it now.
It looks like Godzilla's peeking over it. I'm glad that they at least, they have some commercialization there. Well, Japan is much more, I would think, American friendly than, isn't China less American friendly there?
Well, since Since Trump got in, we're butting heads.
Oh my God! So you were how long were you officially in China?
Like nothing, dude. I flew one full day, and then I had 2 days I did a seminar, and 2 days I looked around, and another day I flew home.
Oh, so you were a week about.
I mean, it's enough.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, I'd like to possibly one more day, but because you realize, okay, we only have 2 days to look around, that means you get up at 6 in the morning and stay out to midnight.
Do you sleep on the plane?
You know what? I watched movies. I didn't sleep that much, and I ate a lot.
You did? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You ate the plane food or you brought food?
No, I ate the plane food.
Oh. Did your wife sleep? She must have been sleeping the whole time.
No, she watched a lot of movies. We enjoyed ourselves. We chit-chatted, we talked, we watched movies, we ate.
It's great. It's the best part of the vacation, the airplane.
It's no kids, and this, Phil can't call me because I'm on the phone. And you have no Wi-Fi, which is great. You have no Wi-Fi for 18
No,
hours.
you can't do
don't have
anything.
people.
You have to be with each other, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or be with yourself, When I fly alone, I'm in a meditative state for the whole flight, especially in a long one.
It's the best. I like flying a long period of time.
Yeah. Can't get enough of it. I'm like, I wish. They're like, all right, get ready, sit down. We'll be landing in 20 minutes. I'm like, the flight was so fast. Everyone else is like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? They can't wait to get off the plane. I'm like, I wish it was another 20 hours.
So before you forget bodybuilding,
yes.
David.
Oh yeah, let's get back to
segue into snakes and wives and plane food.
Yeah.
And Netflix. Don't forget Guy Sistanino.
Well, let's go back. Let's talk about Guy. Let's go back to China first. Japan first. Because now that Milos has given us his take on the whole thing, it seems as though, look, I hate to say this, but it's true. Morel, Cedric McMillan, Nathan D'Asha, those three guys really made up the whole, I guess you could call it, tour after the Olympia, right? I mean, those are the three guys that we saw all the time, and we saw Regan twice as well, but. Those guys, Max Charles really was kind of a little bit of a disappointment, but it was those three guys going at it with each other and trading places, so to speak. And Juan should have probably won that show that Nathan won. It only seems almost like fair that the judges finally gave Juan his due here. I mean, he probably could have come away with 2 or 3 victories on this tour. And it seems like that's been historically the way these tours have always gone, right? Gaspari was one. Del Labrada wins one, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Sean Ray wins one. It goes back and forth,
No, Sean never did any tours.
Yeah, how come he never did the tours?
Well, who accused him of being afraid of losing? I forget it was. Someone who was feuding with him. Ask Milos. I mean, no, because when you're an Olympian at Sean's level, Sean's got the type of physique, tremendous physique. You got to be bang on at the Olympia,
right? And
if you go on the tour and you're holding a small film of water, which traveling can do, you can take your 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place in the Olympia and trash it down to 5th, 6th, and 7th, and it, as Sean would say, the brand, it hurts the brand,
right? Yeah,
so you take a lot of risks. That's why on the tour, the tour is great for people who are in the Olympia who got 8th and 10th because they have the ability to just lay it all on the line or something.
Right.
Try different things, and they say, "Hey, I beat so and so who was 4th at the Olympia."
Mm-hmm. Lavroni was always very, very successful on the tours. He did great. He was consistent.
Yeah.
But I think historically, no one was ever terrific at every show because you just can't keep peaking your body like that. And these guys are no different. Cedric, I forgot to mention Cedric in there too, but Cedric, was great, 2 weeks ago in Romania?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes in here and he looks like he fell apart. Now, it could just be that, these guys hit 2 shows, and their bodies are just not peaking. And a lot of these guys like Cedric, it's a coin flip with these guys anyway, because you never know what's going to happen or how you're going to hit it. And we mentioned earlier, that plane flight's a long plane flight, to Japan. It's not that wreaks havoc on your body.
Again, in defense of all three, Milo said they were all soft, but in defense of them, Regan and Cedric and Juan, who according to I guess Milos here, they were all not banging on the money. they had to, like, say the previous show, fly all the way back for like a few days.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you regroup and get ready and, you know, you start to look decent, it's time to get back on the plane again for 17 hours. So it can play, you know, havoc with your body. You know, it's hard to come in super dialed when you've done more than one show.
Right.
I mean, I disagree with Milos in that to some degree I mean, you can see pictures. They're around on the internet. Nobody has the pictures that Cody's got.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I thought his condition was mostly impeccable. I
was going to say, you know, Cody's coming off of nothing. He's
my
the freshest guy.
Defensive end. He didn't have to do nothing. You know, he just flew one trip.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a show in 2 weeks and he does it, you say, oh, Cody looked better in Japan. Of course. You know, he's not traveling, you know, 6,000 miles there, 6,000 miles back, rest 4 days, you know, do a little bullshit pump workout and then head back out to a different country. It's difficult.
Is Cody in a good spot mentally now moving forward? Are we going to see a much improved version of him in 2020, or is he going to disappear again?
I think you'll see a Cody 3.0, and so he'll pass the 2.0, and you'll see, you know, I love bodybuilders who like to say, I'm going to be 2.0.
Right.
But the fact is that he struggled focusing and mentally and on what he's want to do in the sport. And, you know, you go from the top of the world, you know, winning the overall USA at 20, and two and a half years later, you're doing 3 years later, you're doing a 212 show and you can't win it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So that plays, and that's based on that's not based on what his body can do. That 212 show is based on where his mind was. And I think, well, I know, had he got like 8 tear, I don't think we'd ever hear from him again. I think that's pretty much a fact, or 9th or 10th. And I think because he was, you know, landed in 4th, and by the feedback that he got, you know, people are happy with the condition. And that may be in relation only to the lack of condition on 1, 2, and 3. And we'll talk about why they, you know, might not have been at their best.
Right.
But I think that I know that has motivated him going forward. Like, okay, I'm not a 212 guy. I'm capable of beating guys who are bigger than me, because he clearly beat a lot of people with a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
And he did it on conditioning.
I thought he looked really good conditioning wise. I mean, I don't know Milos was critical of that. I don't think Milos said anyone looked good except for his guy, but from a conditioning. But Cody looked pretty damn nasty hard in the pictures and video I've seen, you know, of the show. Now, once again, we weren't there. Like, and so I
he's
have
clearly
to defer.
harder than he's clearly. Let's say this: he's way harder than first, second, and third. He's just 220 pounds.
Right.
And I think
he's got to get bigger. He
has to be this type of condition with at least 6 in really same condition, not just like when people go like, oh, I gained 6 pounds of muscle and they gained 4, but 2 pounds of fat and water. So they're really, he's got to be at least 6 pounds bigger. And then he's dangerous. 8, and he's extremely dangerous.
How old is Cody now? 25 yet?
24.
Wow. He's so baby. Does he still have a lot of potential in him? Because you know how, like, they say sometimes when guys peak too early in their career, they win the T Nationals 3 times, they're done. I mean, that wasn't the case for Branch and Jay Cutler. Or do you think, hey, you know what, the guy's finally got his head together now. Now we're going to see him really start to
Dave,
blossom.
everyone knows my moniker. They want to copy it. You give me 100, I'll give you 200. You give me 100%, I'll give you 200 back. Mm-hmm. You give me like 80, I'll give you nothing. And honestly, prepping for the show, it's, you know, he didn't crank it up and start to give 100 because of you know, fear. How am I going to do? This weirdness of like, you know, I was 20, I was on top of the world, I'm sure. And then up 212, I can't even win. And it was probably at week 7, I could feel it. Okay, you give me 100, I'm going to do everything I can, or no, to tweak, push, and turn your body going forward. In the last 7 weeks, I mean, if he had another 7 weeks from here on out, I guarantee a step on stage at 224, 223. Guaranteed, just as hard, if not harder. So to answer the question, does he have more? I don't think that he is scratched. He's scratched. I mean, I just think there's so much. He has a lot. He has really good genetics, better than people think. And
no, he's got it. I mean, the guy won 3 team.
Yeah, I know.
But
people win shows. You know what, Dave? People win shows. They win. He had a great teenage stint, right? And USA at 20. And he didn't do it pushing his body. Read between the lines. Read between the lines, everyone. He didn't do it pushing the envelope. So I think his body's very fresh. But we'll see. I think, it's funny because you asked the question, and I never really thought about the answer in terms of, and I never do with people's physical capacity to grow.
People forget how young he is. I mean, I didn't hit my peak years till I was 26, He's only 24,
I mean, people talk about physical potential. He's 24. I think he's coming into a more mental, stable state.
Maturity, yeah.
Because he was too naive when he was 20. I told him, you're going to win the USA, period. Just listen to me and you're going to win it. I just brainwashed him and he's too naive. I mean, he probably showed up thinking, I just want to make top 10. And he was shocked when he won. So when things sink in, I mean, to be a good bodybuilder at this level, you have to have it mentally. We've talked about that week after week after week. And, you clearly, you can gain that experience from competing. You can gain the mental edge. You can learn mental toughness. And I think he's, this show has given him some toughness.
It's got to be a confidence boost to it.
Oh, it's a huge confidence booster. He sent me a nice little video. I guess they had a banquet, and Tim Gardner was, like a co-promoter or whatever, was raving on his condition. And so I said, well, okay, we know. I mean, there's no surprise there, Cody. People know. I know. Fans know you can get in really good condition. It's just a matter of staying focused, going forward, and adding more muscle. And you're never going to add 30. That's for damn sure.
He doesn't need to add 30 pounds. That's the
truth. You don't need to. Yeah. You don't need to. That's why it's 228, and we'll see. So we'll see.
Is there a rivalry between Cody Montgomery and Regan Grimes? Because they're like the two.
Yeah, because guys. I used to help them both.
They both have tremendous Instagram followings. I don't think you have the commonality. I think it's their age and their,
No, I mean the irony is I used to help them both.
I know.
Teenagers.
Yeah. The young guys though seem to gravitate towards you. I think they feel comfortable with you, and then they get.
We'll go eat some Chinese food, don't
right? But then you know what happens? Then they get these guys whispering in their ears. You did. I mentioned with Milos you posted on your Instagram something about someone trying to jack Cody away from you. One of these coaches. You want to reveal who that was?
No, I don't, because people will find out on their own. But the
people are speculating. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, they'll speculate, but they'll get it right. But just the. I laugh at it because I think the audacity of when Cody did the USA, people were like, God, he's going to get killed. And, he should hopefully, focus on trying to win a junior show first or go to the nationals and make top 10. And then the next year, try to make top 5. And me, I'm like, dude, this guy's winning. And so, I mean, not bad. And then going into the Arnold looking tremendous at 21 and then, downfall from there. But it's just odd that somebody would come in and say, I can do better.
Well, these guys are all. That's always happening, isn't it? I mean, it's not uncommon.
I know, but it's fine when somebody comes in looking like a disaster. It's fine when somebody comes in who's what place you have? Been 8th, at the Nationals 3 years in a row. Someone might come in and say, you've been 8 3 years in a row. Maybe work with me and I can move you up to first, second.
All I know is I gotta take my hat off him because here's a guy. He's 24 years old. Okay, he's competing in bodybuilding shows. He's got a young, son, and he's got another one on the way, right? In
March.
He's
got another one on the way. Yeah.
I don't know how he does. His wife must be like a saint because I don't know how he does. I just don't know how he does it. It's tough. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Well, PJ Bruns, has been in his corner
Right.
from the day he won the USA, or even like a few days before. So
They never stopped sponsoring him. Yeah.
no, we never stopped sponsoring him, and I think that without PJ's help, that's the importance of sponsorship, which is few and far between these days.
Mm-hmm.
But without the sponsorship of Blackstone Nutrition and PJ Brown, I don't think we would ever see someone like Cody on stage.
It enables him to train you, and he wouldn't have to get a real job. Now, interestingly, that you mentioned PJ, and I didn't prompt you to do that. PJ is actually coming to my house tomorrow, Tuesday. He is buying 2 snakes from me, carpet pythons, and he's appearing on the TV show. How ironic and funny is that?
That is ironic.
And I haven't seen PJ in a long time, and he certainly has never been to my house. So this is kind of cool. I'm going to ask him about it. I'm going to ask about Cody.
Florida, that's right.
Yeah, he's driving 2.5 hours across the coast, Alligator Alley. And I said, well, why don't you come pick up the snakes? Let's get you on the TV show. I've interviewed you. I want to have you in studio. So he's coming. You never know. Big Lenny may stow away in his trunk or something like that. I heard Big Lenny's having problems, substance abuse problems.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
We have to have an intervention.
you know what? It happens. You know what? If I hear another person, Dave, I talk about ironic, or just I'm out and about, and I don't have a lot of close friends, but I have to mingle with people all day long and around and blah 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 blah. And if I hear and people tend to confide in me, not confide, but they'll tell me so and so, and it's just what's making the comeback again? Right back.
What?
Crystal meth.
Really? Wow.
It's back.
Didn't know it. It was a lot easier to be a crystal meth addict back in the day because you were able to go into like a pharmacy and buy ephedrine. People would just cook it up and make it into crystal meth.
Yeah, what's so funny? You say that. I went to China, and I didn't want to. When I went, Dave, I didn't want to have when I travel, I make sure I have hydrocortisone cream because something's going to itch on me, and I hate having a congested nose. So I go into the pharmacy and I get pseudoephedrine.
Can't get that anymore, right?
No, you can get it in like a low dose, but you have to give your driver's license.
Yeah, because they're afraid you're going to turn into crystal meth.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say to get through the week that I was in China and I didn't want to be tired. I just took crystal meth the whole week.
Did a little crystal meth. No.
On Cody's Instagram, he has a picture it's like a collage of how he looked at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 years old. It's absolutely crazy, the progress he made. From 14 to 15 was crazy. 15 to 16 is almost unbelievable. And from 17 to 19, it's like, wow.
Dave, I just said, I'm telling you, I will not embarrass him.
Yeah.
But I said, at 7 weeks, you're going to give me 100%. I'm going to give you 200 back. What he did in 7 weeks, he's got a little Levrone gene in him.
He's got to have some.
I'm telling you, his genetics are off the hook for the ability to stay the same weight and just get bigger and harder.
Right. Well, congratulations. I think he's the comeback kid of the show, at least. That's, this is the comeback of the post Olympia, I would say. I don't think a lot of people thought we'd never see him again.
And you know what, David? The other thing is I could disagree with my friend Milos. Is he had to come in. What I thought, he had to come in with this type of condition and sacrifice something to get something of a call, because if he was not in the condition that he was in,
he would have been too small. He wouldn't have stood next to these guys. Yeah.
Okay, so he had to pull a Patrick Moore.
Yeah, no, he.
Certainly Patrick could have been fuller at the Olympia, but was it a better look? I don't think so. And would it get the quote heads turning? I don't think so either.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I thought it was a good look at the Olympia. Now, Juan obviously qualifies for the Olympia, and as Milos pointed out, he goes home with a really nice paycheck, like $16,000. I mean, who's better than him? And he got a free vacation out there in Japan out of it. So
Yeah, he probably ate, how much food did Juan eat today?
oh my god, I don't think Juan likes sushi or any of that type of stuff. So I don't know what kind of an Asian food eater he is. You know, he might have had to go to the local McDonald's there and stock up. I got to ask him. I'm going to have him on the TV show this coming, I think, Wednesday. We'll have him on. And we'll find out. I'm actually not even interested in the show, to be honest with you. He's going to want me to talk about the show. I just want to talk about Japan with him. I want to ask him what he did in Japan. That's my goal for the interview. Because I interview Juan all the time. You know, I know I'm very good friends with Juan, and I've known him for 100 years. So for me, I want to see what the Japan experience for Juan was like. You know, for Milos, it's just going from gym to gym. You know, he doesn't really see anything else. You know. But for Juan,
Juan will tell you what he ate on each.
Yeah, I want to hear about the food. That gets me interested. That turns me on, the food part of it. So congratulations, Juan, on the big win and making some good money for yourself in this post-Olympia tour. And I think it's always nice to end this year with a win, right? And you're under your belt. Usually it's Cedric ending the year with a win. And this time
makes you feel so good. Shit, to end a year with a win. It's just the best feeling in the world because
absolutely,
you know, some people start the year with like good placings and then they continue and they get, you know, worse, and then it plays in your head going into the 2020 year like, oh shit, you know, what I do wrong? Or
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Juan does in 2020. Does he take off some time and then wait for the latter part of the year? So I'm sure he's shot. He's definitely going to have to take some well-deserved rest and recuperation time. Now, in the men's, they had a men's physique pro show there as well. South Korean Bang Seok Chow won that. I hope I didn't butcher his name too bad. In the pro bikini, Janet Laig won that one. She was a ringer in this lineup for sure. And then we have to go over to the Niagara Falls show where my good friend Bob Girillo, I think that was one of his shows that he ran. By the way, I'm not talking about Bob anymore. I'm done. I know you watched all my.
No,
did you watch my interview with him?
I didn't pay too much attention.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I did. I watched that on the plane, Dave.
You were able to get the internet on the plane?
No, off the plane. That's probably one of the first things. Besides, yeah, that's right. Right off the plane.
Yeah.
I just sent you a fun picture. Check it out.
All right, hold on. Chris just texted me, Bob being eaten by Godzilla. What is this one? Oh,
no.
That was someone else sent me that. Guest posing with Regan Grimes, Cody Montgomery. Oh, that is cute.
Two fat pigs.
Yeah, two bloated fat. Actually, Cody doesn't look that bad in that. Regan is really bloated. Cody always looks. I've never seen Cody that out of shape. Except maybe when he was.
He's got a good metabolism.
He's always in good shape. Milos is sending me more. Oh, this is the picture I wanted. Did you get the latest Milos picture? This is at the top of that building. He went to the top of the building and took a picture with Godzilla, like literally looking like he's going to eat Milos and then his athlete there. That's great. He didn't send you that one?
No, you can send it to me.
Oh, I'll forward it to you. This is great. This will definitely have to be the slide for the show. No doubt about it. Milos is the best. I love Milos. I really like Milos. I always got along with Milos, even if we're not like guys that hang out because he lives on the West Coast. I always got along with Milos. It's like there was something that we just both understood. Even if he does things differently than me, I get him. I understand him. He's a good.
I told you, Milos thinks is like Samir. They think about bodybuilding 24 hours a day.
It's a shame,
when there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean,
remember when Milos couldn't get in the country? He was kicked out of the country.
Yeah, that's right.
He was out of the country for a long time. I kept telling him, I said, Milos, just come back and settle this stupid whatever you got going on here with the legal issues with the ex-wife and everything like that. Thank God he got back in here. I remember I saw Milos out at the show. He's probably still listening to this. He's listening to this, but he knows it's true. And I was interviewing him. I forget where it was. Maybe it was FIBO. And he was with some new girl that he was dating. Because he was living back in Serbia. And he was like, I don't know if he was engaged. I'm like, I think he was dating her. I said, Milos, whatever you do, don't get married again.
Oh, I remember you told me that.
No,
Yes.
right? And
That was
he's like,
a
no, I
tuxedo in
found the
Germany. I
perfect
was
girl.
there.
I'm like, Milos, don't get married anymore. Please, just date, okay?
You did.
Don't
You-
marry anyone anymore. Because
Yes, you did give
that's
that
his,
advice.
that's Milos's downfall. Every time he gets married, it always throws a monkey wrench into what he's doing. So I think Milos is doing great because he's not married now. You know, he can do whatever he wants. Let him go on dates all he wants. Don't marry anyone, Milos. You're at a stage of your life you don't need to marry anyone. Just have fun. You got your child already. You don't have anything else to prove. Milos is living the lifestyle, right? He's in China. People fly him all over the place.
He's everywhere. The minute I get to China, they're like, Milos is here. I thought they meant like there where I was.
Yeah, I would love to go. I would love to like get flown someplace with Milos, like for like a week. Like just get stuck with Milos in like a foreign country for a week and have to like just, as long as I wouldn't get like divorced when I get out. If I could just go and like not have any obligations and hang out with Milos for a week and like at a bodybuilding camp someplace in like China, that's gonna be great. That's like going to a bodybuilding summit or something like that. Yeah, you know how like electricians and like car mechanics, they have to go to school like every year to learn all the new technology on the cars that come out.
Yeah.
That's we need to have one of those, like a summit, like every year where we go, like me, you, Milos, like the people that really know what's going on, the science of what's going on.
Well,
we go there and we discuss the new science of what's out there.
You need to offer your course like not the advanced refresher or the updated.
Yeah, I could have Milos come out and teach it. You know, but seriously, we should have a get together. You know, with the snakes, you know, in the snake breeding business, they have something called Carpet Fest now, because in Australia they have what the snakes are called carpet pythons. So they meet in different areas of the country at Carpet Fest, and everyone goes and it's almost like a retreat. They hang out at each other's house. They drink a little bit. They look at each other's snakes. They talk about what the latest, greatest pattern mutations and color mutations are, and they kind of just get caught up in because it gets a lot of times you can talk over text message and emails, but it's very impersonal. So we need to have like a place where we can all go. Maybe when we're like 60 years old, we'll do it, and we'll meet like once a year, like at a not at the Olympia. It's got to be someplace else. It's got to be in a much more relaxed environment.
Dave, you want to laugh your ass off? There's
Guru Fest, we'll call it. How about that?
Listen, I started weightlifting, bodybuilding when I was like 14, and I started going to a gym, right? Yeah. And when I was there, I thought they were really old. They were like 38, 35, 40. So 14, 24, 34. Let's say 25 years older than me. So I'm 53, 60, 70. So I'm 53. So I'm in Wendy's yesterday.
Okay.
And I sit down with my kids and I see this guy who used to weigh 181 and used to deadlift 683.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, he had the world record at the time. And I didn't know if it was him because I'm thinking, I haven't seen this guy since I was 15.
Right.
25, 35, 35, 40, whatever. Is it 40 years ago? 40, 50? Yeah, almost 40 years ago. His name's Marty. And I wanted to say something.
What was his last name?
Joyce.
Okay.
And I'd say, I'm there and I say, Marty. I was like, oh, it can't be him. And then I try it one more time and he turns. I haven't seen him in 35 years.
That's great.
He said, you look the exact same.
You do.
He said, you look the exact same since 14, and this guy looked like, I didn't recognize him. He did look the exact same. But he came over, we chit-chatted, but the point is about this, he and all the people who used to train at this gym when I was like 14, they do a reunion every year.
It's great. It's a great idea.
And they've been doing it for like years and years and years and years. They get together for a barbecue once a year and they talk shop. And I was thinking, I told my kids, I said, you know what, even though I didn't know him well, I was part of that bond of brotherhood of bodybuilding way back, 35 years ago. I remember once I squatted like 315, Dave. I had to be like 14 or 15 years old. And I went over and he was like famous powerlifter. So he comes over and I said, how is my form? because I thought he would pat me on the back. He said, "Terrible."
That's great.
I was hoping to get a compliment, just some type of approval.
Yeah. Well, I think there should be a guru summit every year. Once my kids get older, and your kids are older, we'll have to start.
My kids are older. Yours aren't.
Well, you have a young one now, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about.
And knowing you, you'll probably try to have a few more.
Yeah, so. That would be nice.
Your poor wife.
He commented to me. He said, "How old are your kids?" I said, "Same guy, Marty." He said, 15, 14. And then I said, "I have a 6." He said, 6. And I said, "And I have a 6 month." He said, "Do you know you're going to be my age by the time?" I said, "I don't want to hear it." And then I thought of you.
Yeah, I'm worried just as bad as you are. My daughter's finally, like the first 3 months, the kids are completely in it's like they're not even kids really yet. Now she's waking up finally, so now it's starting to get a little more fun. Yeah, they're fully grown fetuses out of the womb. Exactly, and I'm sure your wife told you the same thing. My wife, they don't understand why us men don't understand the whole. It's you can't do anything with the baby that's 3 months old. The first 3 months, they just. It's we can't relate to it. I think the women can relate to it because it's they're still attached to them essentially. They're just not in the womb anymore. They're more hardwired. We're you know how it is when you first have a baby. The man has no idea what to do. No. You're clueless. I know. And the woman has all these instincts. That they just know how to take care of a baby. And I used to say how do you know how to do that? How do you know what to do? They have to. That's hardwired into their brains, and they think that we should be like that. That's the problem. They don't understand. We're dummies. Oh, I see a headline today. Did you see it? Jeff Bezos from Amazon can afford to buy every team in the NFL with enough money left over to buy every sports team in New York City. I heard that that Amazon made $12.2 billion last year. They didn't pay one dime in taxes. Did you see that? You see, FedEx didn't pay one dime. Really? Well, not one penny. All I know is I'll tell you this. It's what we record this on Sunday night, so at around before the kids went to bed, it had to be about 9 o'clock. My wife's like, I just got a text message. Amazon, the Amazon van is 2 blocks away from the house from delivering the whatever she ordered yesterday. So they're working 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're getting deliveries Sunday night. How funny is that? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Isn't that nuts? Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Right, let's talk about Sylvester Stallone. Guy Cisternino and his 212 win at the. Although I can't find any placings or scorecards anywhere. I just know from his Instagram and from you, obviously, that the guy won Niagara Falls. NBC News has them. I looked. News. I don't see it. They don't have placings. No, they're there for sure because I've seen them. I see. I'm looking on the site right now. They have the scorecard up, and then they have the. Maybe I'm. IFBB Niagara Falls. There it is. I'm under it. I just don't see the placings anywhere. Oh, the score sheet is somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. There's not the placings. Guy was first. Hyun Jim Kim was second. But let's talk about the Guy Cisternino victory. Yeah. A lot of people were counting him out. I know Guy. We're gonna have. By the way, I have Guy booked for a TV interview because I want to hear the whole story. You'll have to get the beeper out. His shoulders, I think his shoulders are actually technically worse than mine are. Right, and he's still training and competing. Yeah, well, he's going to tell you the story where he asked the doctor when he got out of the surgery, he wanted to know how strong are the screws. And the doctor said, "Why?" He says, "Because I'm going to test him out next week." He's definitely. I told him I'm going to give him the name of my surgeon. He'll definitely be getting a shoulder replacement. Maybe not in the next 5 years, but he'll be out there guaranteed. There's no doubt in my mind. But you know what? He'll go out with a blaze of glory. That's for sure because he's relentless. Talk to me about what if you had to rate the Guy Cisternino that we saw in Niagara Falls. Where would it fall on the spectrum of good to great?
I mean, he was good. He looked very good. I think when he's won previous shows, I mean, he's won 7, if you can believe it. He'll make sure that you know that.
No, I remember he was on a roll for a while.
I think this is a winning look, but I've seen him better. I've seen his back double just. I mean, even though it looks really good here, I've seen it just ridiculously peeled.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he needs to be absolutely ridiculously peeled in the back double to be able to, win shows again. I mean, it's nothing taken away. I coach him, but this was the toughest year for him, and he'll tell you in detail, why. I mean, he came back from, he had double shoulders done. And
what did he have done exactly? I mean, I'll ask him on Tuesday, but I think
Rocky Balboa and Jay Cutler are the only people who come back in.
I think he had his rotator cuffs done, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I think both of them. Yeah. They were just screwed up, and so, he was, he looked like my 14-year-old, and he wanted to do, come back, which was predisposed. I mean, he had already talked about that before he went into surgery, and he had a long year. He was 3rd in Chicago, and that was a weird show because he had the worst hand go. Discuss that because he got sick the day before on some type of, I don't know what pills he took.
Yeah, he was having a lot of problems, like just.
He had pills for muscle spasms or something, and he got really sick for that show, and that was like a blow to him. And then after that, he got 3rd at like another show. Tampa, because I was down there.
Yeah.
And he got. Now I'm going to criticize some judges. He got 3rd there, and then he got 4th at a competitive show over in Europe, where like a Monster Freak won. And then he went out to Legions, and then he got like 7th. I don't ever remember guy getting 7th in a show, And then this week he, it was the last show.
Remember they had a tan problem. Remember he wasn't tan at one of the shows, and he said he fell asleep and missed the appointment or something.
No,
that
was sick. Yes, he was sick.
Yeah.
And because he was sick, he missed the tanning appointment. That was in Chicago. So bottom line is he came back here, and we talked about. Juan Morel, isn't it nice to win the last show of the year? I think in Guy's case, he's going to be, thrilled to win the last show of the year, seeing that he did a lot of shows and, not getting the result that he wanted.
Right. Well, he's going back to the Olympia now next year.
Yeah, he made his flight reservation about 20 minutes after he got off stage, I think.
Yeah, and I think that I looked at the picture. I found them finally. We always say it, Chris. Conditioning wins shows. Guy Cisternino won that show because he was the best conditioning guy up there, and there was some big guys at it.
A lot of the guy he beat was a monster. Too soft from behind. Good thing. I mean, the guy who got 3rd and 4th were big.
Yeah. But Guy showed up in condition. I think Guy won the Japan show if he would have been in it. He would have been the best conditioned guy there.
Well, I don't know about that. But,
no, I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, you got to say stuff like that because people say, Palumbo said that.
Guy will love it. Guy loves that kind of. Yeah. He hears that and be like, damn right. He would have been top 5 there. He would have knocked off a couple of guys just because he was conditioned. You got to look. You can't come into these shows out of shape, and that's the bottom. That's what I'm trying to relay. I'm not saying the guy, is going to beat guys that are 250, but you got to come in shape in these shows if you want to win. And Guy proved that. He's like, you know what? I'm going back to my old strategy. I'm coming in shredded. I'm going to be tan and polished. My posing's going to be perfect, and let's the cards fall where they may. He didn't pass out. He didn't have any food reactions. He didn't throw up. He didn't get fall into a coma, and he won the show because of it, you know, and that's the bottom line, and that's Guy Cisterna for you. He's freaking tough as nails. Remember the New York Yankees, Craig Nettles, third
Craig Nettles, third baseman. People hated him.
No, Lenny Dykstra they called Nails, right? And then Lenny Dykstra, the New York Mets guy.
Yeah, Lenny went to jail.
Yeah, he went to jail.
Stock scams.
Yeah, he was fucking people over financially, but he was a good baseball player. Anyway, so congratulations to Guy Cisterna. We love you. I'm glad that you won the show. We'll have you on the TV show this week.
Well, that's the classic there. There was a classic show. I'm trying
to find the results of that. Do you know who won?
Yeah, the Rough Ruffin.
Oh, Terrence Ruffin, right, exactly. Rough Diesel.
Yeah, what do they call him? Ruffin? Yeah, Terrence Diesel. Yeah, he's very good.
Rough Diesel, they call him, right?
Yeah. Terrence Ruffin.
He's a freak. His problem is he's short, and I think that hurts him a lot of times in these lineups. But when you put him alone, or you put him next to a bunch of guys that maybe are not quite as good as him, he exposes everyone.
Yeah, he's got flow.
Look at the comparisons. He's very short. I mean, I think that really hurts him on stage, and I hate to say it because he really has no weaknesses. I by the way, I love how have you noticed how I did a rant on it last week. The evolution of the classic physique, posing trunks. They went from being like men's spandex to now we're almost at full posing trunks now.
Yeah, they have full. Almost.
They're not quite. They jack them up. They're like Speedos now, but there's certainly less material than back in Arnold's day.
Well, they're radically different.
They look like the posing suits that you and I used to wear when we first started in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And then they got skimpier. They'll be. Look, I said I know you were against it, but I said they should just put them in posing trunks. I mean, it's bodybuilding for God's sakes. But you were against it because you felt it would become a glute contest, which you would be right, of course.
Yeah. Well, I helped the guy get second place. They're on glutes and hams.
Yeah. He's good. Who is that guy? I was going to ask you. Who is that guy who came in second?
Sammy Ghanem.
He's good.
I probably botched that, Sammy.
He's short too.
Yeah, he's shorter than Ruffin.
Yeah. He's shredded though. So, congratulations to him. It was a good show. Remember they used to have Niagara Falls. For some reason, one of the contests really, I remember Tom Terwilliger, because he used to live down the block from me in Long Island. He won that. You remember that he won one of those Niagara Falls shows. People would drive. The New Yorkers would drive up there for the day. It was like a 6-hour, 8-hour drive.
Yeah, they used to have the Niagara Falls. That was Milos's, I think. Call him back up. I think it was his first U.S. Pro show.
Oh, it was? That's funny.
Yeah, I think
who won that one?
Won it.
Right, he loves talking about that one. Who won that show?
Albert Beckles.
Oh, Al Beckles, right. He was like 70 years old, right?
No, I think he was 63, but I don't know if he was really.
That was the word on the street, but we don't really know for sure. Oh my God! All I know is I remember when Tom Terwilliger won because he drove up. Troy told me the story how he drove up with Tom because they were friends. They trained at the same gym, and Troy won the amateur or something like that. I think his class at the amateur. They used to have an amateur. It was a pro-am. He drove up to Niagara Falls, and Tommy Terwilliger wanted to qualify for the Olympia. Tommy was probably the smallest guy in the IFBB, but he had good shape. He was a great poser.
Yeah, good condition.
Yeah.
Good condition.
Good condition.
He had a twin brother who used to compete too.
Mike Terwilliger, who's by the way, paints motorcycles. He's one of the greatest artists you've ever seen. Crazy. And it's funny because Mike had long hair. He's like a biker, and then Tommy was short hair, conservative, looking guy. It's pretty funny when you compare the two of them, but they look exactly alike. They're like identical twins. You're moving around a lot over there.
I know.
You have nervous restless leg syndrome.
I'm fidgety.
Yeah, you're very fidgety today. It must be the airplane flight.
Well, no, I did my income and expenses. I told you so.
Oh yeah, that would make me fidgety too. With all your expenses, all the new properties you have, and everything like that. I don't know how you sleep at night, to be honest with you.
Well, speaking of, hold on.
I watched a great interview, by the way. Before I'm going to interrupt you one more time. Ray Dalio's. You got to watch.
Of course.
You got to watch this interview.
Best investor of all time.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah, you'll love this interview. I only watched half of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it later tonight. Valuetainment is the YouTube channel. He's like an Indian guy on there. I think he's Indian. He's like Sid. He reminds me of Sid, who works for us. He does like a lot of financial investment shows, but he loves bodybuilding. He interviewed Brandon Curry. He interviewed Dorian Yates. I don't know if you saw some of those interviews he did with them. He's really good. But he knows all the body. He even mentioned my name in one of the interviews. I don't even know how he knows who I am. But he knows everything. He like I said, he reminds me of Sid, this guy. He interviewed Ray Dalio. I don't know when it was, but Ray wrote a book, and you got to watch this interview. You will love this interview. This is Chris Aceto written all over it. Got to watch the Ray Dalio interview.
I fashioned myself as a little junior Ray technician Dalio. I'm serious. What was he talk about? I follow everything. Huh?
Yeah, he was talking about, and he argues with this guy because they were arguing. He's like, look, don't tell me what. He's like,
let me guess the topics that he brought up. Economic inequality, right?
His whole thing is you got to diversify.
And trends.
You cannot just throw all your and I always believe in that too. I just intuitively felt that way, just not at the scale he's at, but never just bank on one thing. Have a very diversified portfolio, because not everything is going to always work out for you. You're going to have failures, but if you have a lot of different things going on at the same time, it averages out that you still do well. And so you might have a building that's you lose your shirt on, but then you have 10 other buildings, Chris, that you're making a ton of money on. So it doesn't matter. That's his whole shtick. And he's a guy from Long Island. His father was a jazz musician. He's like, I didn't have any money growing up. We were like middle class, he said. And you know what he did? He was a caddy at a golf club. And he actually caddied for Richard Nixon once. And he would ask all these stockbroker guys for tips and stuff like that. And that's how he learned all this stuff. Crazy, right?
Yeah, he wrote a very, very, I don't know the name of it, famous, massive book on investing.
Yeah, I think that's what he was talking about, that book.
I think it's like, who knows how many pages it is. I'm waiting for the cliff notes to come out.
He's the 23rd richest man, I think, in the world or in America or something like that. He's worth like $12 billion or some shit like that. Actually, his son contacted me. I think I told him.
Son's a bodybuilding fan, I hear.
Yeah. So it's a very small world, but good interview.
Ray Dalio's son, if you're listening, please email me. I have an investment idea.
I know. You need to get in touch with me.
And it's not snakes.
It's not snakes. Well, anyway, I thought it was a good weekend. I'm glad you're back from China. Milos will be back on the Wednesday, and we'll have Guy Cisternino and Juan Morel on the show this week. And PJ Braun will be in the studio on Tuesday. I'm trying to think who else is coming in. I like when this contest season is coming to an end, because I can do more creative stuff like that. Oh, my friend Brian Hoydick will be on Guru Talk this week as well. We're going to be talking about cheeseburgers and French fries.
Oh, he's the one who sent me I'm kidding. The text.
All right, let's wrap this thing up, Chris. I want to just thank Milos Sarcev for joining us all the way from Japan. And I want to just tell you, Chris, I gave him literally 10 minutes notice. 10 minutes. Milos is like that. I'm the same way, but most people need like 2 weeks notice to get to come on my show.
He needs 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I'm like, Milos, where are you? He's like, I'm out eating in Japan. I'm like, you want to call into the radio show? It's just audio. It's not video. Let me go to the street, see if I get the service, Wi-Fi. I said, all right. Milos goes out to the middle of the street outside the Godzilla Hotel in Japan, and we're talking to him to get his analysis of the Japan Pro. It doesn't get much better than that, right?
No. Key eyewitness to the unfolding results.
All right, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll be doing some emails from the.
It's the morning, Dave, but
that's right.
I'll try to enjoy the rest.
It technically is Monday, so we're doing it on the right day.
Yeah.
All right. As we say every week for the last 10 years, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.